evening. At this time, I've asked Board Member Misty Britt to lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance.
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
This time I'll do the roll call. Bill Starkey.
Present.
Tom Ratliff. Here. Misty Britt.
Here.
Carl Armour.
Here.
Okay, all here and accounted for. The purpose of this meeting is for a public hearing on the proposed closure of Glenville Elementary School effective July the 1st, 2017. Students in grades PK through 6 at Glenville Elementary School will attend the new Gilmer Elementary School commencing with the 2017-2018 school year. And at this time, Ron, I'll turn the meeting over to you. We'll go from there.
Okay. Thank you, Dr. Simmons. Procedurally, at our closure hearings, we're going to offer those who sign up and indicate that they'd like to comment an opportunity to do that. And I would plan on trying to answer any questions that, in this case, we have one person sign up to ask questions tonight or to comment. And that's Norma Hurley. So I'll attempt to answer your questions when you're complete. We have 5 minutes to.
Okay, I guess my very first question is, why is the Board of Education sitting here when the memorandum of understanding that we had at the last meeting clearly says that they have no authority to deal with facilities?
The Board of Education will not be the board that votes on the closures. That will be done by the State Board of Education.
So I don't quite get why they're here, because, you know, in my mind.
It's a requirement of code that they have.
Well, if they're under state takeover and not given that authority, there's a requirement of code for a lot of things, but when the state took over, that kind of went by the wayside. And in my mind, perception is reality, and I hate to see it, because when the film goes out and the pictures go out and people see it, they will perceive that this board had something to do with the closures. And I'd like to ask each board member if any one of them, we can start with Mrs. Starkey, had anything to do with this closure.
The question would be, I'll answer the questions tonight.
Oh, I see. I'm not about to ask them questions.
No.
Okay, I'd also like to point out another thing, Mr. Blankenship, and you know my feeling on it has not changed. This school should be the second school. This school is in very good condition for its age and certainly savable. We should have a second school in Gilmer County. You know the difficulties of transport. We're already running 2 bus lines through Normantown under the current system that are 10 minutes over the law by your own publication. When you move them down there to that school at Crooked Run, if it goes there, if it's funded, more will be over the line. More 4-year-olds, more 5-year-olds, more 6-year-olds. And they're going to have their transportation routes changed, having to get up earlier in the morning, dragging them out to a bus stop far away from their home. People who only have 1 car and maybe 1 job in the family will find it almost impossible. It will be very hard on the children, very hard on the families, and I'm begging you, please don't do this. This school, in your own words, you said this school would be a very good choice for the Board of Education. If that's the case, if we can move our Board of Education in here, it is set up and prepped with some modification for our children to stay here until such time as we can afford another school. Normantown Elementary children have sat there for how many years now in trailers? And it's just announced that they are practically an exemplary school. Certainly will be considered blue ribbon. The building's not going to do what we need for education. Do we have some older buildings? Yes. Do we need to do some facility things? I've never agreed with you more. But how it's being done, how the children are being transported in such a haphazard manner to bring them all to one area where the only children in the whole county that will see a shorter travel distance will be just a few from Cedarville. If you had in fact built that school at the original site, which was state approved at Letter Gap, And even left this school open as the second school, going to 200 each because we're only going to, or even 150 over there, because by my count, we're losing a lot more than what we think we're losing. But whatever is required to meet what we're allowed to have. Letter Gap, you could have brought the Cedarville children in Grass Run and still save time and cut off at least 3-4 miles for our Normantown, Rosedale, Stumptown, Perkins children. And the Center District children all over on Spruce Run could have been brought there. Money would be saved and not lost, and not just by us, by the state. The state, you know, what do they handle? 85% of transportation costs? And we're looking at a 7.5% cut and probably more in the future. Things are not good for money in this state. Some common sense needs to prevail, and I've got to tell you, I disagree with you. I disagree with you totally. You know that I really felt we should vote for a second school. We should have had another shot at the board trying to present a levy. But since you've denied that right, and you have, since you've denied that right, I think you really should consider saving this school and dividing the children enough to be able to have them travel where when we want all of them to read by the third grade, at the third grade level, they won't have to spend 3 hours a day, 4 hours a day on a bus. They're already having to wait that extra hour for the high school because we don't have buses to transport just elementary and just high school. So they all have to come in at the same time, and they're sitting there waiting. Let's not add more time on their travel. I'm just begging you, please reconsider this. There's still time. And you have the power. You've got the people. You know the people to deal with. You can do it. And I just wish you'd really think more about the children, because in my opinion, this is not considering the children. It just isn't. Facilities are great things. I love new buildings. I'd like to hand every child in this state, a brand new building with all new computers and everybody be happy and plenty of space and certainly some of the best teachers in the world, but it's just not going to happen. I know we have to work within our means, but we have the means with this building sitting right here to give Gilmer County a second school. And that's all I can say.
Thank you. I'm not sure I heard any questions in there, but
Well, Mr. Blankenship, I've asked questions for 3 years, and seldom do I get an answer. So all I can do is give an opinion and hope that maybe you'll think about it a little bit and realize that it comes from the heart and it comes from seriously thinking about this issue. You know I've tried very hard to keep abreast of what's been going on. I've not ignored anything. I've spent a lot of time trying to follow the money, trying to follow the dollar, trying to follow the actual student achievement, trying to determine what would help our county. And I don't believe it helps our county to decrease our student population. It does not help our county economically to take us down to one school and increase transportation costs. It doesn't help us economically to present with one school, and the only place you can come to get within a decent riding distance would be Glenville. Tourism is the main draw for a lot of people who want to come to West Virginia, believe it or not. The beauty of the state, the idea that you can still find land that is not crowded right next to your neighbor, because believe me, in neighboring states, you won't find it. And it is a big draw. And when you say, well, the only place your kid can go is right here, or your grandchild can go is right here, and no matter where else you live, you've got to bring them in. Believe me, this town is not the draw for this county. Now, it's a good place. I think the world of Glenville. I've been here for over 20 years by myself. And my husband just got retired a couple of years ago and came here before that to vacation. I love Gilmer County. May I die here and be, disposed of here. However that may happen. But we're not helping Gilmer County. Gilmer County is not being helped by this, and we don't deserve to be treated like this. We just really don't. We didn't deserve the takeover, certainly by no means. Our county has never operated in the red. Our schools were all performing and meeting AYP, every one of them, which was the state selected criteria. Not a choice they made, it was the state criteria, and every school in Gilmer County met it. So you know how I feel, and you know that I can't help but say it. I've got to say it now. I'll say it till the day we finally have to put them all over there and we ship more students to Lewis County. This does not benefit our county. It does not benefit these children. It doesn't help our teachers. It doesn't help the families. Thank you.
thank you very much. That was clear here. Okay.
just make one comment. If there was anything you'd like to present in writing, a need for you to do it this evening. I don't know if you prepared anything that you want to
No, I
present.
did not present it in
Okay.
writing, you know, just simply because it just seems to do no good, quite honest with you. I'm not saying that to you, sir. Do I know you?
My name is Joe Canette. I'm.
Oh, yes, Mr.
Assistant
Bennett, we have
Superintendent for the
spoken on the
department. Yes,
telephone.
okay.
You're very well aware of how I feel, and, you know, we have discussed these various issues.
Okay.
And you've watched down in your office as certain people down there, I'm not going to name names, it does no good, have made statements at large groups and gatherings that Gilmer County has been in the red. That
Excuse me,
was never
excuse me,
the
Norm.
truth.
You can carry on the conversation afterwards, but we need to conclude this hearing.
Oh, certainly, okay, Mr. Bennett,
Did
if
you
you're
have
around,
any
I would.
comments?
No, no, I just wanted to ask if you had anything wrong. in writing.
Okay.
But
Are you,
this concludes this part of the meeting.
do I hear a motion that we adjourn this special meeting? So moved. Second? Have a motion and a second. All those in favor, signify by saying aye. Aye. You adjourn.
That's Renee. You guys are Renee. I can't vote because we can't vote on facilities in this facility meeting, so I'll
Well,
vote
then
nay.
it wouldn't be a nay, it would be a no vote.
Well, nay is no. It's in the dictionary.
Okay, let's